Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I have some Yak-9T gameplay for you. Now the Yak-9T is a plane that I am not particularly excited about. It is definitely not a bad plane. It is just a little bit situational in my opinion. The gun is great, but as soon as you run out of 37mm ammo, it kind of turns into a relatively mediocre plane. You can definitely still do damage with the 50 cals, but it just doesn't pack as big of a punch. But that does not mean that it is a bad plane. It is still a very good plane. It's in all regards just a standard Yak, which is an extremely good flying platform. Now in this particular game I am playing against the Japanese, and that is always going to be a little bit of an issue, because you are definitely not going to be as competitive as if you were playing against any other nation. Because if you're playing against any other nation, you're relatively secure in the fact that you can basically outmaneuver, if you know what you're doing, almost any other plane at this BR. However, against the Japanese you can't do that, because in all regards the Japanese planes in terms of maneuvering are just better. So I will have to be extremely careful with what I do. I have to keep an eye on my surroundings at all times, and keep my speed up as high as possible, because that is the one advantage that I have. I am faster than the Zeros and the Kai-43s, but that is only regarding those planes. Now to actually get into the gameplay. We already got ourselves 2 kills, so that is a very nice start to the game, and the Zero that I have selected right now in front of me, we already critted earlier. I'm assuming his engine. I'm actually relatively surprised that he's either not dead yet or his engine is still functioning. But we go after him again. I hit him there with the 50 cal and then I hit him with the 37 and set him on fire. Therefore, I switch to another target because he's basically down. The A7M2 comes in and we make very short work of him with a very nice shot. Now, the A6M3 is, surprisingly enough, still alive after a fire and a hit to the engine. I'm just spraying him with 50 cals because I don't really want to waste 37s at this point, but I do end up shooting 2 in the end, but he is then actually finally completely out. So, that is already a very nice start to the game. However, we are low right now, so we have to really keep our speed up. Put the plane into a little dive just to gather a bit more speed to go after this Zero. Now I turn with the Zero, thinking he's gonna make a turn, but he actually goes for the head-on and does not come out of that one alive. So with him out, I switch my attention to the J2M. Now the J2M is a very nasty plane, especially at this BR. It has extremely well climb rate and it can go really fast. This is a plane that, if you know what you're doing, can outspeed a Yak, and it can actually keep up in a turn relatively well, as I'm going to experience right here. I try and get guns on, but he's actually way faster than me. Now I do have a lot of friendlies around, but it doesn't really matter. He does get distracted though, so he can't stick on my tail. I try and come up after him, and he has a Chaika on his 6 with 20mm guns. And I'm actually surprised that the Chaika has not been able to really catch up with this guy yet, because if anything, he should be able to turn with him. Now I make a little half loop here to try and get my guns on target again, but he's again gonna be like a little snake, just gonna get away from my guns. So at this point, I'm getting a little frustrated with this fight, because it is definitely a fun fight, but it is getting really frustrating because there are so many friendlies around that are just unable to kill him, that it is really kind of starting to get dangerous for me, because this guy is pulling maneuvers that he really shouldn't be allowed to pull when there are so many friendlies around. Now, he outstalls me here, I lose all of my energy, and he comes down on me. Now, luckily, he does not get guns on and doesn't actually shoot, because he, I guess, kind of gets distracted by one of my friendlies that is shooting at him. Now, I get some guns on, but no hits into him. So, I continue the fight, turn into him, use my flaps a lot. That is one thing that is relatively remarkable about the Yaks. The flaps extend extremely fast. Now I go up again, so that when he goes up I maybe get guns on. I lose a lot of energy, but I do successfully pull out the maneuver, and he is going to end up right in front of my guns, which results in, I personally have to say, a very nice kill. Now, I thought of going back to base at this point because I'm basically all out of cannon ammo. However, there is still a Zero up in the air, so I thought, what the hell, why don't go for him? So I turned back around to try and help out my friends, because one guy, one Yak on a Zero is definitely gonna end very badly for the Yak, most of the time. Now, this guy does seem to be already relatively damaged. I don't know exactly what it is, but it looks like a fuel leak. Now, I'm trying to be as low as possible so that he doesn't see me coming. That is definitely one of the bigger advantages to have in some situation like this. I get my first shot off, doesn't do anything, and I am, right now, just using my flaps and ripping them off, because the flaps descend so extremely fast, as I said, that you just rip them off if you're not careful. So I come back down on him. He is still very focused on the Yak-9T, which is gonna hopefully make it relatively easy for me to shoot him. Now, I spray some 50 cals maybe just to dishearten him from going after my friendly. I don't know if it works, but he does go away from my friendly. I shoot my 37, those miss, but then the APIT rounds in the 50 cal of this plane do very good work if you hit the fuel tanks of enemy planes. Now that that Zero is down, I'm going to be returning to the airfield, and I will catch you guys when the action continues. Now back right into the action. I do have to say I did edit out quite a substantial portion of the battle. Me and my other friendly were engaging the Zero a bit earlier, and, well, it was kind of a shit show. So I decided to leave it out because it was about 5 minutes of me and him just trying to get guns on, and it just really didn't work out, and it was really quite boring to watch. Also, I have no clue, but the audio of this specific part of the recording is extremely wrecked. The audio was lagging behind about 2 to 3 minutes, so I did the best I can to try and fix it, so I hope you guys don't notice, and it doesn't take away from the experience. Now, what I aimed for with flying away from the J7M is that the Zero is far enough away that I can fight this guy on my own, because I really don't want to have it become a 2v1. Now, what I can try and explain here, but in all reality you can basically see what I do. He overshoots, I get guns on, end of story. Now, there is another substantial part of this game. It is really just the last, well, 10 minutes of this game of me just flying around at the enemy airfield waiting for the Zero to take off. He does play it smart. He starts climbing over his airfield so that he doesn't leave protection of his AA. To be honest, it is a very smart thing for him to do, and it is definitely a way that you can draw out the fight and try and win, because it was just me and I believe 2 bombers left in the end. But it is really time consuming, and I'm not going to bother you with that because it really is just quite boring. I will, however, leave you with the fact that the P8 on my team actually managed to kill the A6M, because I actually really kind of fucked up in the end, where I let the A6M kind of get very close to me and at low altitude. So I'll just leave you with that, and for as far as that's concerned, that's going to be the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.